I'm Rachel Randall. I'm the strategy director at Creative Fuse, and we are a marketing, branding, and website development and design services agency. I'd say that strategy tends to have kind of a reputation within our industry, at least with clients, that it's something that's long and boring, and it involves a bunch of like questionnaires to fill out, or maybe like a workshop to attend, and then we're gonna like put all these data points on a slide and present it to you. And there is an element of that, like as part of our process, but I'd say that one of the largest misconceptions about strategy as a just a discipline and as a process is that it's really all about the conversations that you're having with the client. It's not about this rigid process where we're going to go through step A and then step B, and we're going to find out all of these little data points and do the competitor research. Yes, that is part of it, but I would say that the most successful strategies that I've been a part of have really started with a deep conversation about what the purpose of your brand is. It's essentially burning money. That's what can happen. You are spending money to create marketing materials, but you don't necessarily know who you're trying to reach, who your target audiences are. You don't necessarily know what specific tactics or channels or platforms those people are even on. If you don't have those foundational elements, it can you're wasting money because you're creating things. You don't necessarily know if you're creating them for the right people. You don't know if you're creating them on the right platforms. You don't even know if the representation of the creative is going to resonate with that specific audience. You could be designing something that feels like it's for a completely different audience, or there's just like some subtle mismatch between what you're trying to do and what you're creating. There's so much out there, and so much of it is noise. And if you are not taking time to build that foundation, you're risking that your marketing efforts are just going to be part of that noise. It's not going to be something that actually converts or accomplishes the goal that you've set out. You might not even have a goal established for your marketing, which means that you don't necessarily know even what success looks like. I'd say audience 100%, who your target client, who your ideal client is, absolutely essential, because that's going to become the foundation for how you then speak to and reach each one of those individually, and then as a like as a holistic unit too. I think you were speaking to it as well, like what I would call brand positioning. So like where you sit within your industry, both broadly and globally, but then also like within specific niches. And how, like, exactly where you play, like relative to larger players, relative to smaller players, like where exactly you fit your differentiators. So sometimes called a unique selling proposition. We call them the three uniques. But just a combination of key differentiators that like like as like one unit, like taken collectively, nobody else is delivering. You would be surprised by the amount of information and inference, and then like further um, extrapolation that can happen just from those elements. And so it doesn't have to be this gigantic exploration run for the front where we're just going to like knock through every single thing that has to do with your brand. It can be a gradual and iterative exploration, but I agree with you that that 20%, those foundational elements are critical. Without that, again, you risk running just wasting money and putting out noise.